In this video, a woman confidently brings a pallet jack to the truck, and a helpful man offers to assist. The two step onto the lift gate preparing to get the job done. But it seems the man may have been a little too captivated by his co-worker's charm, so much so that he missed a step and took an unexpected fall off the lift gate. In a crowded factory, a worker attempted to walk in front of a machine that was releasing a stack of wooden boards. The moment he stepped into the path, the machine suddenly pushed the boards forward. The stack shot ahead and the worker became trapped. Fortunately, the operator reacted quickly, reversed the machine, pulled the boards back and allowed the worker to escape. This incident shows why no one should ever pass in front of operating machines or moving loads. In a factory, an operator was working at an industrial machine. For a brief moment, he was distracted and rested his arm on the machine. At that exact moment, the moving parts activated, putting him in serious danger. Luckily, his co-workers acted fast and stopped the machine. This incident demonstrates that even the smallest lapse in attention can create risk when machines are running. Workers must stay fully focused during operation and avoid touching hazardous areas. In a large power plant, a light smoke was noticed in the generator area. It seemed insignificant at first, but quickly intensified, and the team immediately evacuated the area. This incident is a reminder that early warning signs such as smoke, unusual odors, or overheating should never be ignored. When these signs appear, teams must immediately secure the area and initiate a professional response. A worker was performing maintenance in the engine compartment of a vehicle. As he leaned forward, the engine unexpectedly started, and the vehicle began to roll backward. The worker found himself trapped in a dangerous position between the door and the vehicle body. Before working on the engine or transmission, the battery should be disconnected. The gear set to neutral and the parking brake applied. Workers should not place themselves between the vehicle and a fixed surface, and must always maintain a safe position. On a construction site, a worker was being lowered into a trench using an excavator bucket. As the operator began lifting him back up, the bottom of the trench suddenly collapsed. Within seconds, the soil buried the worker, and rescue was impossible. This incident reminds us that trench safety rules must never be ignored. Excavator buckets are not designed for transporting personnel and should never be used for that purpose. Ground conditions should be checked regularly. If signs of loosening, water leakage, or cracking appear, work must stop immediately. Workers were cleaning a manhole on a busy road, but there were no barriers, cones, or warning signs in the area. Suddenly, a vehicle approached at speed, drove over the open manhole, and struck the worker inside without noticing. When the car stopped, the situation became clear and the team intervened, but the incident had already happened. This incident shows the critical importance of creating a safe work zone during road and manhole operations. A coal mine worker was pushing a wheelbarrow full of coal toward a platform. However, the platform wasn't fully aligned, and there was a small gap on the surface. The worker didn't notice it and fell toward the opening along with the wheelbarrow. This incident is a reminder that platforms and walkways must always be properly closed and secured. Workers in a metal factory unknowingly found themselves standing underneath an active crane. When the crane lowered a heavy load, the workers ended up directly in the danger zone, the area. In a crowded work area, a worker was sitting right next to a large rotating metal wheel. While he continued his task, the machine suddenly malfunctioned, and the heavy wheel detached and dropped to the ground. This incident clearly showed how quickly equipment failures can become dangerous. It is unsafe to sit or wait near rotating or moving machinery. a press machine malfunctioned in a factory, and two workers approached to inspect the issue. The machine appeared to be still. One of the workers leaned in to examine the mechanism, and there was no movement. But the moment he leaned in a second time, the press suddenly activated and created a serious danger. This incident shows that even machines that look stopped can still pose a risk. A worker was lifting a heavy machine part with a crane, but the hook wasn't fully locked. Shortly after the load was raised, it slipped and dropped rapidly. The worker narrowly escaped a serious injury thanks to a small gap. The team quickly intervened and secured the load safely. This incident shows the importance of ensuring all connections are fully locked and the load balance is checked before any lifting operation. With heavy loads, there is no room for haste. The right equipment, proper locking, and maintaining a safe distance save lives. In this video, it can be seen that an employee in a busy garage is slowly moving a car by leaning against the back of it. Beneath it lies an open and unprotected service pit. As the employee moves forward without noticing the gap in the floor, their foot slips and a situation posing a serious risk arises in a short time. The incident shows that service pits and floor openings should not be ignored. Service pits and floor openings should not be left unprotected. All openings must be secured with barriers or covers, and caution must be exercised when approaching the floor. In this clip, you can see that an employee approaches a conveyor belt in motion to pick up a package or clear a jam. The gap between two belts creates an area where the employee could face a serious risk in a short time. Even during a normal operation, being near moving equipment can create a serious danger. It is forbidden to walk or work on the conveyor belt. If a product is to be taken, the system must be stopped and lotto procedures must be applied. Safe work is ensured by energy control, proper stopping, and staying away from risky areas. In this video, it can be seen that a construction worker walks across a long, thin plank that has no middle support. As he reaches the center, the board snaps and he falls. In this video, you can see a working environment is seen where an object is under tension. Equipment or material carrying energy poses a serious risk in case of uncontrolled contact. If any person approaches near the dangerous line during a normal operation, a situation that endangers safety can arise in a short time. The incident shows that stored energy can pose a risk without being noticed. All energy must be isolated and safely discharged before entering the danger. Line operations should not be carried out without providing energy control in systems containing electricity, pressure, or tension. In this video, it can be seen that this construction worker threw wooden planks from a balcony and hit another passing worker because the person below is wearing a helmet. He was not hurt. This shows why you must always look down before throwing materials and why helmets are lifesavers. In this video, you can see that while a car is making a right turn, it encounters a scooter traveling in the right lane. The scooter driver gets in front of the vehicle depending on a sudden maneuver and the vehicle position, and a serious risk arises in a short time. The incident clearly shows the importance of distance and environmental awareness. In traffic, attention should be paid to the surrounding vehicles when changing lanes and making turns. Small vehicles can pose a risk in sudden maneuvers. Accidents are prevented when speed, distance, and attention rules are followed. In this video, you can see that two employees are performing a task around a mechanical press machine in a factory. While one of the employees places the material under the press and makes adjustments, the other heads toward the control panel. However, a hand is still in the dangerous zone of the press and goes unnoticed. As a result of a brief lack of communication, the machine is started, and the press begins to move before the material is fully placed in seconds. A routine operation turns into a situation that poses a serious risk. This incident shows how important communication and coordination are when working with press machines. Before the machine is started, it must be confirmed both visually and verbally that all employees are in a safe position. In this video, it can be seen that this guy's cutting the steel, strapping on a steel coil from a very close distance because the metal is under high tension. It snaps back with extreme force. You should have used long-handled shears as stood to the side when opening it. In this video, you'll notice that cutting trees near houses is dangerous here. A worker calculates the angle wrong and the tree crashes onto the roof. In this clip, you can see that this worker started cleaning the machine while the power was still on because the machine was not locked and tagged out. It kept spinning during the cleaning process. Always turn off the power and use a lock before touching any machinery. One simple mistake can lead to a serious injury. In this video, it can be seen that inside this foundry, a large ladle transports molten metal along a rail. A worker stands between the ladle and the wall while waiting for it to pass. Unexpectedly, molten metal drips from the container. In this video, it can be seen that this man is standing on top of metal drums inside a truck. He tries to roll a drum that is on its side, but he loses his footing and falls off the back of the truck. In this video, you can see that an employee is preparing to go down from the second floor with a wooden ladder. The moment they put their foot on the step, the ladder slips because it is not sufficiently fixed and tips over to the side. In a short time, the employee faces the risk of falling from height. The incident clearly shows how critical the use of ladders is at construction sites. Ladders should always be placed on solid ground, fixed from the top, and checked before use. Employees should maintain 3 points of contact and managers should perform safety checks. In this video, you can see that employees at a construction site are preparing to lift a large prefabricated piece. One of the employees climbs on the piece while half of it is standing on an open floor edge. The piece starts to tip over by losing its balance and turns into a situation that poses a serious risk. In a short time, the incident shows how important position and balance control are when working with heavy materials. Heavy materials near open edges should not be climbed on, and force should not be applied. Transport operations should be carried out in areas where materials are safe and balanced, and risky points should be restricted. In this clip, you can see a busy warehouse filled with high racks and forklifts. Moving between these racks are seen while 2 employees are organizing a pallet in the aisle. A forklift's mast lightly contacts a rack upright while turning a corner. This small contact disrupts the balance of the rack row, and within seconds materials fall, making the aisle dangerous. A routine warehouse operation turns into a serious risk area that requires precision in narrow aisles. Forklifts must be used at low speed and with full control. In narrow aisles, forks should be kept down. A safe distance from racks must be maintained, and racks should be inspected regularly. In this clip, you can see several employees in a retail store are gathered near a closed shutter door. Since there is a commotion outside, the employees are trying to make sure the entrance is locked. Although the barrier appears solid at first, when a vehicle strikes the shutter forcefully, the barrier loses its function and uncontrolled entry is gained. The expected moment of routine precaution turns into a situation that poses a serious risk for employees. In a short time, businesses must be prepared for emergencies. Strong barriers, shutters, and locks. Gain time for intervention. Employees should be trained on evacuation shelter in place and communication plans. In this video, you can see that a dangerous situation occurs between a pedestrian and a front loader in the same work area. After loading the sand, while the operator is maneuvering, the bucket moves towards the direction of the pedestrian without careful control, and the load is dumped onto a nearby sand pile. This moment, which develops in a short time, shows how risky it is for the employee to be within the normal movement and rotation area of the machine. The incident clearly reveals that the presence of humans in the movement area of heavy-duty machines can pose a serious danger. Heavy machines should not be operated. While there are people, dangerous areas should be marked. A spotter should be kept, and warning systems should be active. This footage documents a serious industrial accident at an aluminum foundry, serving as a powerful reminder of the necessity of following safety protocols. While the production line was active, a worker entered the robotic arm's operational zone to address an issue without first cutting the power or engaging an emergency stop. Because the machinery continued its programmed cycle, the robotic arm struck and pinned the worker against the machine frame, resulting in severe injuries. This incident highlights the critical rule of never entering a hazard zone while equipment is energized. This industrial safety footage highlights a critical incident involving a high-speed automated robotic arm, where an employee entered the operational radius and became trapped by the machine's programmed motion. This serves as a vital reminder to strictly follow safety protocols to prevent mechanical hazards in automated environments. First, always respect safety barriers and never cross perimeter lines while equipment is active. Second, ensure robotic zones are equipped with smart safety features like light curtains or infrared sensors that trigger an emergency stop upon a breach. Third, implement a strict lockout-tagout (LOTO) procedure to de-energize machinery before any manual inspection. Finally, workers must maintain situational awareness of motion paths and blind spots. Prioritizing these measures ensures that every team member remains protected. This footage documents a severe workplace incident during the unloading of cargo from a flatbed truck. While a worker was positioned on the trailer to adjust a bundle of steel beams, the load unexpectedly dislodged from the crane hook and fell directly onto the individual's lower limbs. The primary causes were a lack of a designated signal person and improper rigging procedures. To prevent such events, workers must never stand under a suspended load and must stay clear of the red zone. All hoisting operations require a qualified spotter to provide immediate warnings. Furthermore, all slings and hooks must be inspected prior to use to ensure the load is balanced. Comprehensive safety training is essential for hazard recognition. Safety is a collective responsibility. This video serves as a powerful reminder of the critical importance of workplace safety within industrial environments. The footage captures a moment in a factory where workers are operating heavy machinery when an unexpected equipment failure leads to a severe incident. During the operation of a large-scale machinery, a worker was positioned too close to a high-risk zone. Due to a lack of coordination or technical failure, the machinery struck the worker directly, resulting in a tragic accident that unfolded too rapidly for anyone to react. This serves as a vital wake-up call to always maintain safe distances from operating radius or suspended loads. Strict equipment inspections and the proper use of PPE are essential lines of defense, but unwavering focus is the key to preventing irreversible consequences. Safety must always come first to protect yourself. This industrial safety footage highlights critical workplace incidents where individuals entered an automated, robotic arms operational radius while it was active. In these situations, the equipment followed its programmed cycle, leading to dangerous mechanical entrapment. Because these automated systems may not detect unexpected obstacles without specialized sensors, workers can become caught between the machinery and fixed structures. To maintain safety, never cross safety lines or perimeter fencing while the system is in operation. Work zones should be equipped with infrared sensors or light curtains to automatically cut power if an unauthorized entry occurs. Furthermore, always implement lockout-tagout (LOTO) procedures to de-energize equipment before manual inspections. This video documents a serious workplace safety violation involving an industrial robotic arm. a technician entered the robot's operational zone without following mandatory safety protocols. Because the machinery was not de-energized or properly locked out, the robotic arm continued its programmed cycle, making forceful contact and knocking the individual out of the work area. To prevent such incidents, strict adherence to lockout, tagout, LOTO is required to isolate all energy sources before inspection. Workers must never enter restricted zones or the swing radius of a robotic arm while the system is operational. Automated areas should utilize safety barriers and sensors to stop machines automatically. Maintaining situational awareness and following site regulations is the only way to ensure personal safety. This industrial safety alert provides a crucial analysis of a machinery accident to prevent future workplace incidents. The documented case involved a manufacturing worker who entered the swing radius of a robotic arm while it was in automatic mode, inadvertently ignoring safety floor markings due to a lapse in situational awareness. The individual was struck by the moving equipment, leading to severe injuries. Key root causes identified include a lack of physical safeguarding, as the area lacked perimeter fencing, and insufficient hazard recognition by the operator. To ensure a safe environment, management must implement rigorous machine guarding and interlocking sensors. Every worker must maintain constant vigilance and strictly follow protocols. This footage captures a serious industrial incident where a maintenance worker's arm became entangled in a moving conveyor belt due to a failure in safety protocols. This highlights the critical need for strict compliance with workplace regulations to prevent such accidents. Lockout, tagout, LOTO must be strictly followed to isolate energy sources before any repairs. Personnel must wear proper PPE and avoid loose clothing. Always maintain a safe distance from active machinery and ensure all staff receive hazard recognition training. This industrial safety alert analyzes a serious workplace incident at an aluminum foundry to emphasize the critical importance of safety protocols during production. A worker entered a robotic arms operating zone to troubleshoot a conveyor issue without first disconnecting the power or using an emergency stop. As the individual leaned into the machine's path, the programmed arm struck and pinned them against the frame, resulting in severe injuries due to high mechanical force. This serves as a vital reminder to never enter an energized hazard zone. Facilities must strictly enforce lockout, tagout, LOTO procedures, utilize physical safeguards like light curtains, and provide comprehensive training to prevent complacency. Prioritizing these safety standards over production speed is essential to protecting lives and ensuring a secure work environment for everyone. This footage highlights a critical workplace safety incident during routine truck maintenance. While a technician was inspecting the area beneath a tilted cab, the hydraulic system or safety locking mechanism suddenly failed. The massive weight of the cab collapsed unexpectedly, trapping the individual before they could react. This serves as a vital reminder to always follow strict safety protocols. First, perform rigorous equipment inspections to ensure safety pins and locks are functional. Second, never rely solely on the vehicle's internal lifting system. Always use secondary supports like heavy-duty jack stands or steel safety struts. Finally, mind your positioning and avoid placing your body directly under unsecured loads. This worker is unloading a truck using a tail lift. The pallet is overstacked with beer crates, making it extremely heavy. As he pulls the pallet jack toward the edge, he loses control of the momentum and has to jump off the lift. The heavy load continues to roll until it hits the edge and collapses onto the ground. This industrial safety alert highlights the critical risks of dust explosions during the loading of powdered materials into bulk transport vehicles. As seen in the footage, improper pressure regulation can lead to a sudden explosion where immense force displaces operators and engulfs the area in debris. Key technical causes include excessive pressure from obstructed ventilation, and static electricity generated by fine particles moving at high speeds. To prevent such incidents, facilities must ensure system integrity by verifying relief valves, maintaining safe distances through remote monitoring, and providing specialized training on material flammability. Strict adherence to safety protocols and the use of proper fall protection are essential to mitigate hazards in high-risk industrial environments. This video captures a high-risk industrial accident at a machining facility, serving as a powerful reminder of the importance of workplace safety protocols. In the footage, a team of technicians is seen performing maintenance on a large red vertical milling machine. Because the heavy equipment was not properly secured and its center of gravity was miscalculated, the removal of a key component caused the massive cast iron head to suddenly collapse. Fortunately, the workers nearby displayed incredible reflexes, leaping out of the way just milliseconds before impact. While no injuries were sustained, the machinery crashed violently, causing significant damage. This near miss highlights the need for pre-operational safety checks, the use of certified rigging equipment, and constant situational awareness to prevent such dangerous incidents in a high-pressure shop environment. At an airport, a worker lost control of a refueling hose while filling up an American Eagle plane. The hose began whipping violently on the tarmac, spewing flammable fuel everywhere for over a minute. Luckily, there was no fire and no one was injured. Some contractors narrowly avoid a disaster while trying to lower a swimming pool frame from a rooftop. They used a makeshift ramp made of 2 wooden planks to slide the heavy structure down. The frame slides too fast and crashes into the street, nearly crushing the 4 men below. Fortunately, nobody was injured. This video captures a construction site safety incident where a concrete mixer truck falls into an excavation trench. When the soil collapsed, it highlights the critical importance of assessing soil stability before operating heavy equipment near excavation edges. This video documents an unexpected workplace incident at a metal scrapyard, illustrating the high risks of working on unstable surfaces. The footage shows a worker on a truck bed filled with iron bars, attempting to organize the load. While pulling a large metal piece, he unintentionally created an uncontrollable leverage force. Due to uneven footing and the sudden shift of the bar, the worker lost his balance and fell from the truck bed, followed by sharp scrap material. Fortunately, he stood up immediately, but such falls pose a severe risk of injury. This highlights the need for stable footing on non-fixed surfaces and proper heavy material handling using mechanical assistance. Construction workers are in an upper floor pouring concrete with a pump. As the weight increases, the formwork underneath begins to fail. It appears the project cut corners on the shoring supports, causing the entire floor to collapse. This incident serves as a critical case study on the importance of stabilizing industrial equipment during disassembly. While a team was disassembling components of a red vertical milling machine, the equipment's center of gravity shifted unexpectedly. Because the unit was not properly secured, the heavy machine head suddenly collapsed onto the workspace. The technicians working directly underneath displayed incredible reflexes, narrowly avoiding the falling machinery in a split second. This near miss highlights the need to utilize industrial chains or cranes to ensure units remain stabilized before removing structural parts. Technicians must assess how part removal affects balance and always maintain safe work zones by staying out of the line of fire of unsupported heavy components. Proper adherence to safety standards is vital to prevent significant operational risks. In the footage, a pedestrian is seen passing near the main entrance of a busy commercial area. At the same moment, a large and heavy glass door suddenly detaches due to a failure at its upper connection points. This happens without any prior warning, and becomes a serious hazard within seconds. An ordinary everyday passage turns unexpectedly dangerous because of a structural failure. This incident serves as a reminder of a basic rule. Load-bearing and overhead structural elements must be inspected regularly, especially with heavy glass doors. Connections and suspensions points must undergo periodic maintenance. Safety is ensured through continuous inspection and planned maintenance. In the footage, a forklift operator is seen moving forward without adequately checking the route and making contact with a large steel coil. This contact causes the forklift to change direction uncontrollably, and the vehicle strikes a nearby main crane support column. The resulting impact compromises the stability of the load-bearing structure. This incident highlights a fundamental rule of safe work. Route awareness and visual control are essential in forklift operations. Operators must continuously monitor their travel path and maintain a safe distance from fixed obstacles. Safety is ensured through planned forklift routes and protected structures. The footage shows stone and glass slabs stored vertically in racks inside a narrow warehouse. While workers are carrying out routine tasks between the materials, a single slab slightly tilts forward and the balance is disturbed. This small movement quickly turns into a chain reaction of falling slabs. This clearly demonstrates a fundamental rule of safe work. Heavy materials stored vertically must always be supported, secured, or chalked. Their stability should never be trusted. Safe stacking in warehouses is a critical necessity. The footage shows a driver stopping a truck directly behind another vehicle. As the driver hurriedly prepares to get out, he opens the door without securing the vehicle. Because the parking brake is not applied, the truck soon starts to move forward and makes contact with the vehicle in front. A simple stop quickly turns into a risky situation. This incident reminds us of a basic safety rule. Before exiting a vehicle, it must always be properly secured. The parking brake must be applied, and wheel chocks should be used if necessary. These checks are especially critical in confined spaces. In the footage, a dimly lit underground parking garage with parked vehicles is visible. In this limited visibility environment, a person is lying on the ground near the vehicles. A driver entering the garage does not notice the person on the ground while performing a parking maneuver, creating a risk of contact as the vehicle moves forward slowly. As soon as the driver realizes the situation, the vehicle is stopped and help is called. The incident highlights how critical visibility and awareness are in enclosed parking areas. This situation serves as a reminder of a fundamental rule. In areas with vehicle traffic, pedestrians and maintenance personnel must not lie down or wait on the ground. Drivers should slow down in low visibility conditions and check blind spots. Safety is ensured through clear rules, adequate lighting, and constant awareness. In the footage, maintenance work is being carried out near a water structure by the roadside. A worker handling electrical equipment is standing on a metal platform right next to flowing water. During the work, an unexpected electrical contact occurs, causing the worker to lose balance and move downward from his position. The incident develops very quickly, and the fact that the environment is both wet and outdoors further increases the risk. This shows how decisive environmental conditions can be when working with electricity. This incident clearly demonstrates a basic rule. Before working with electricity near water, all circuits must be de-energized. Residual current protection systems should be used, and the suitability of equipment for wet conditions must be checked. Safety begins with taking the risk seriously when electricity and water are present together. In the footage, a repair operation is being carried out at a high point on a building facade. The worker is suspended above the street, intervening on damaged sections of the exterior. At first glance, the movements appear controlled, and the worker is secured with a single safety line. However, during the work, the stability of the supporting cables deteriorates. The anchorage point shifts, the line slackens, and the system quickly loses control. A routine repair task at height turns into a very dangerous situation within seconds. This incident clearly shows a fundamental rule. All work at height must rely on solid and verified anchor points. A single line must not be trusted. Backup safety systems should be used, and connections must be continuously checked. In the footage, wooden planks are placed under the rear tires to move a tractor that is stuck. The intention is to improve traction between the tires and the ground. As soon as the driver applies throttle, the wheels suddenly gain grip, and with this unexpected traction, the front of the tractor rapidly lifts upward. The vehicle remains close to a vertical position for a brief moment, then loses balance due to the rotating wheels and tips over to the side. What begins as a routine recovery attempt turns into a situation involving serious risk within seconds. This incident clearly demonstrates a fundamental rule. When recovering stuck vehicles, sudden traction and weight transfer must always be taken into account. Abrupt grip can cause the vehicle to lift uncontrollably. Safety is achieved through planned and controlled actions, not improvisation. This video documents a serious equipment failure and property damage incident in a loading zone, providing a critical lesson on the safety protocols required when operating industrial vehicles. The footage shows a heavy-duty forklift parked on a slight incline at a loading dock where it appears the operator failed to engage the parking brake or properly chock the wheels. While the crew was preoccupied, the forklift began to roll backward uncontrollably. Due to its massive weight and increasing momentum, the machine collided directly with the side of a parked Mazda CX-5. This incident highlights the need for strict parking protocols, such as lowering forks and engaging brakes, the mandatory use of wheel chocks on inclines, and regular maintenance to prevent property loss and ensure site safety. This video documents a hazardous workplace incident during the repair of a large-scale industrial pipeline, offering critical insights into safety management. While working in a deep trench, a technician used a thermal cutting tool on a massive metal pipe. Due to residual pressure or trapped flammable gases, a sudden flash fire erupted the moment the cut was completed, momentarily engulfing the workspace in heat and flames. Fortunately, on-site emergency personnel intervened instantly with extinguishers to prevent a catastrophic explosion. This near miss highlights the necessity of atmospheric testing and pressure relief before hot work. In the footage, 3 workers are seen preparing around a freight elevator in the underground section of a mine. The environment is dimly lit, machines are operating in the background, and the elevator shaft is open. Everything appears routine at first, but the elevator on the upper level unexpectedly begins to move and descends downward. The workers remain in the lower part of the shaft without being aware of the movement above. The incident unfolds very quickly and shows how suddenly dangers can arise in underground work areas. This situation clearly demonstrates a fundamental rule. Never stand beneath suspended loads, moving platforms, or active elevators. Restricted areas must be clearly marked, barriers kept closed, and workers made aware of blind spots. Safety is ensured by staying away from high-risk zones. In the footage, a work area is shown where a forklift is carrying a load that partially or completely blocks the operator's forward view. Pedestrians are also moving within the same area. This shows how limited visibility in zones where forklifts and pedestrian paths intersect can quickly create serious risk. A routine transport task can become dangerous when situational awareness decreases. This incident reminds us of a basic rule. If the load blocks visibility, the forklift must be operated in reverse. Pedestrians should only use designated walkways, and everyone must remain aware of their surroundings. Safety is achieved through proper traffic organization, separated areas, and mutual attention. The footage shows a forklift being operated at high speed with sudden maneuvers in a busy industrial area. In the same area, a pedestrian is moving on foot. When the forklift makes a sharp turn, a serious risk is created for the pedestrian. This incident highlights a fundamental safety rule. Pedestrian areas are inviolable. Forklifts must be operated at very low speed in areas with pedestrian traffic, and pedestrians must always be given the right of way. Safe work is about control, not speed. The footage shows a mechanic inflating a truck tire while standing very close to it. As the tire inflates, internal pressure builds up, and an uncontrolled release of energy occurs within a short time. What appears to be a routine task unexpectedly becomes dangerous. This situation reminds us of a fundamental safety rule. Truck tires must always be inflated inside a safety cage and from a safe distance. Pressure is invisible, but its effects can be extreme. Proper equipment and correct positioning prevent these risks. The footage shows a worker moving on an elevated platform without adequately checking the area where they are about to step. The surface covering is not properly secured, and the worker loses balance and moves downward from platform level. This situation clearly demonstrates a fundamental safety rule. When working at height, situational awareness and fall protection systems are mandatory. The 100% tie-off rule must be applied, and proper anchorage points and personal protective systems must be used. Safe work begins with securing yourself. The footage shows a worker starting to clean a machine. However, the machine's energy source is still active and the system has not been shut down. Because lockout/tagout has not been applied, the machine continues operating during cleaning. What begins as a routine maintenance task quickly turns into a serious hazard. This incident clearly reminds us of a fundamental safety rule. Before coming into contact with a machine, all energy sources must be completely shut off, and the lockout/tagout (LOTO) system must be applied. Cleaning, maintenance, or adjustment tasks should only be performed after the machine has been made safe. A small oversight can lead to extremely dangerous consequences. Safe work begins with controlling energy. In the footage, an active construction site is shown, where a deep trench with no form of support is being used directly next to heavy equipment. While work initially appears normal, the stability of the trench wall suddenly fails. A large portion of the unsupported wall shifts within seconds, and soil flows into the excavation area. What began as a routine excavation task turns into a serious risk situation. In moments, this situation demonstrates a fundamental rule of safe work. Deep trenches must not be entered without protective systems. For excavations deeper than 1.2 meters, proper sloping or shoring is mandatory. In the footage inside a busy auto repair workshop, a silver cold vehicle is lifted using a hydraulic hoist. At first, everything appears to be proceeding normally, but shortly afterward, the lift begins to lose balance. Although the lift arms are holding the vehicle, it becomes clear that the weight is not evenly distributed. The vehicle tilts to one side, and within seconds, stability on the lift is lost. What seems like a routine operation unexpectedly turns into a serious risk situation. This incident reminds us of a fundamental rule of safe work. A vehicle on a lift must not be trusted without completing balance and securing checks. It must be confirmed that the arms are correctly positioned and the locks are engaged. Safety is achieved through verification and control, not assumptions. In the footage, a worker is seen performing tasks in a section of a large machine, where rotating steel wires are involved in a winding process. While the wire feed is not progressing properly, manual intervention is attempted to clear the entanglement without fully stopping the machine. During this time, the system continues rotating and applying compressive force. The continuous movement of the wires makes it difficult for the worker to withdraw safely, and the situation quickly becomes one of serious risk. This incident demonstrates a fundamental rule of safe work. Manual intervention must never be performed on rotating or compressing machinery. Intervening without isolating energy and applying lockout/tagout ETLU is extremely dangerous. Safety is ensured by never approaching a machine until it has come to a complete stop. This video provides a profound look at mental health and crisis prevention through an in-depth analysis of a distressing incident where extreme psychological pressure led to severe personal consequences. The analysis reveals that personal relationship struggles, specifically emotional breakdowns and a sense of betrayal, pushed the individual into a state of crisis. This serves as a powerful reminder of the vital importance of mental health maintenance and the heartbreaking results when distress goes untreated. Key takeaways include the fact that mental health is paramount, and seeking professional support is essential during difficult times. Furthermore, the weight of impulsive decisions shows how split-second choices in moments of distress can lead to life-altering consequences for everyone involved. Ultimately, prioritizing sincere communication and rejecting negative paths can prevent tragedies. A guy is using a ladder on top of a mobile scaffold, which creates an extremely unstable base. The wheels were not locked, and there were no spotters on the ground to hold the equipment in place. Never use a ladder on a moving platform, especially without secured wheels. The World Health Organization recommends that reversing maneuvers should not exceed 20 meters or 65 feet. In places where there are no established pedestrian crossings, it is important that pedestrians remain alert to the movement of vehicles. This warehouse safety alert then examines a critical incident involving large bulk bags where a worker was struck by a shifting load during a crane operation. The accident occurred due to an inadequate safety buffer, as the worker was positioned in a dangerous blind spot within the fall path of the cargo. Technical analysis reveals that flexible bulk bags have dynamic centers of gravity, meaning lifting one unit can destabilize adjacent stacks. Furthermore, communication gaps allowed the lift to begin while personnel was still in high-risk zones. To prevent recurrence, facilities must establish strict exclusion zones, verify the stability of surrounding stacks before any lift, and ensure standardized coordination between operators and ground crews. Comprehensive training on hazard recognition is vital for maintaining a safe environment. This video highlights a critical workplace safety incident occurring during the unloading of a heavy shipment. As a forklift operator maneuvers a large crate, two workers are positioned on the trailer bed to assist. The mishap occurs when one individual stands too close to the active lifting zone, disregarding safe distance protocols. As the forklift engages the load, the crate becomes unbalanced and tips over, striking the worker who is unable to escape the immediate path of the falling cargo. To prevent such incidents, a strict safety perimeter must be maintained, ensuring no personnel stand within the operating radius or under suspended loads. Furthermore, operators must verify that all cargo is perfectly centered and secured before lifting. Clear communication through standardized hand signals and the consistent use of PPE are essential to mitigate risks during high-pressure loading tasks. This video documents a serious workplace accident during the installation of wooden floor panels at a construction site. In the footage, a worker is seen adjusting panels on a metal frame elevated approximately 6 feet above the ground. Because the panel was not secured and the worker stepped onto the unsupported outer edge, the board suddenly pivoted. The worker lost his balance and fell to the concrete floor, with the heavy panel landing on top of him. This incident highlights the need to secure materials immediately with screws or clamps to prevent shifting. Workers must maintain safe footing by never stepping on unverified edges and always using fall protection, like safety harnesses, at significant heights. A woman is cleaning between parts of a machine that is still operating. The machine has not been shut down, and its moving components are still running. During the cleaning process, part of her clothing comes into contact with a rotating mechanism. The fabric is suddenly caught and begins to wrap around the machine. Although she tries to pull away, the machine's continuous pulling force causes her to lose balance, and her body starts to be dragged inward. This incident shows a fundamental truth. Cleaning operating machinery is a deadly risk. Any intervention performed without stopping the machine and cutting off its energy creates a life-threatening danger. Safety is achieved only through a complete shutdown and correct procedures. In the footage, a worker is seen climbing onto the top of a large oil tanker. While attempting to move across the elevated and curved surface, his foot slips and he loses his balance. Within moments, an uncontrolled movement occurs, creating a situation that poses a serious risk. This situation demonstrates a fundamental rule of safe work. Proper access, equipment, and fall protection systems must be used on elevated surfaces, curved and slippery. Surfaces should not be climbed directly. Safety is achieved through the correct access method. In the footage, a heavily loaded truck on a crowded construction site road is seen beginning to lose its balance. During the operation, the crane's outriggers are not deployed, and the vehicle starts to tilt sideways. On the truck bed, metal sheets are stacked up to and above the side rails. As the road narrows and the load shifts, a situation quickly emerges that poses a serious risk to nearby workers. Operations must not be carried out on heavy load vehicles without ensuring stability. Crane trucks must deploy outriggers, and loads must be securely fastened using appropriate equipment. Safety is ensured through proper preparation and secure load restraint. In the footage, workers are seen cutting a pole, and immediately after the cut, the pole falls uncontrollably and strikes other parts of the antenna structure. This initial impact causes a sudden vibration throughout the entire structure. Within a short time, connected components affect one another, and the structure loses balance, leading to a progressive collapse. This incident demonstrates a fundamental rule of safe work. Before cutting or dismantling, the load-bearing capacity and connections of the entire structure must be evaluated. Components with a risk of falling must be secured in advance, and the sequence of operations must be planned. Safety is achieved by considering the entire structure, not just a single part. In the footage, several workers are seen carrying out routine tasks in an area inside a factory where pressure vessels are located. While no abnormal condition is initially apparent, a sudden pressure release occurs from one of the tanks. This unexpected event quickly turns the surrounding area into a hazardous environment, and workers move towards safe zones. This incident demonstrates a fundamental rule of safe work. High-pressure equipment must be continuously monitored and regularly inspected. Safety valves, gauges, and relief mechanisms in pressurized systems must be checked periodically. Safety begins with recognizing that pressure is an invisible hazard. In the footage, a vehicle is seen lifted on a hoist while work is being performed underneath it. However, the vehicle is not properly centered on the lift and is not fully locked at all contact points. A small adjustment made to the vehicle causes a loss of balance, and within a short time, a situation with serious risk emerges. During the incident nearby, Workers notice the danger and intervene quickly. This incident demonstrates a fundamental rule of safe work. A vehicle on a lift must not be considered safe until all contact points are locked and balance checks are completed. Even a small force can create serious risk when loads are not properly secured. Safety is achieved through correct locking and pre-operation inspections. The footage shows a large excavator working on a steep and unstable slope. The machine attempts to move while positioned very close to the edge. When the ground loses stability, the excavator becomes unstable. This incident highlights a fundamental safety rule. Before operating heavy machinery on sloped or weak ground, ground stability must always be assessed. Work must not proceed without ensuring a safe distance and proper positioning. The footage shows a shop owner sitting on a chair inside a small roadside shop, focused on his phone. Outside, a motorized load-carrying vehicle parked nearby begins to roll backward on its own. The vehicle moves uncontrollably toward the shop, and the person inside fails to notice the danger. This situation clearly demonstrates a fundamental safety rule. Unattended vehicles pose a serious risk. Vehicles parked on sloped surfaces must always be properly secured, controls shut down, and brakes engaged. The footage shows maintenance being performed on a large multi-piece truck wheel in a commercial service garage. During a routine operation, the high pressure inside the rim becomes uncontrollable, resulting in a sudden release of energy that affects the surrounding area. The incident clearly shows how powerful pressurized systems can be. This incident highlights a fundamental safety rule. Large and multi-piece wheels must never be inflated without a protective cage or restraining device. Only trained personnel should work with high-pressure systems, and it must always be verified beforehand that the tire is completely deflated. The footage shows a fully loaded three-wheeled truck reversing. During the maneuver, steering control is applied incorrectly. The vehicle loses its balance and moves down over the edge of the ramp. This incident highlights a fundamental safety rule. Maneuvers with loaded vehicles must be performed at low speed and with full control. Direction, slope, and load weight must always be considered during reversing. Safe driving depends on anticipating how the load will behave. The footage shows an excavator operating near a wall at a construction site. A nearby person, believing they are at a safe distance, steps into the narrow space between the excavator body and the wall. When the machine rotates, this gap closes rapidly and a dangerous situation develops within seconds. This situation clearly reminds us of a fundamental safety rule. No one should ever enter the swing radius of an excavator. The operator's visibility is limited, and the upper structure can rotate without warning. Safe zones must be defined with barriers, and a spotter should be used when necessary. In the footage, a large and heavy sliding door at the entrance of a hotel is being closed. While the door is in motion, the rail system unexpectedly fails. The door overcomes the safety stopper, comes off the rail, loses balance and tips over to the side. What appears to be part of normal daily use quickly turns into a situation with serious risk. This incident clearly shows a fundamental rule. Heavy and moving structural elements are not safe without proper installation and regular maintenance. Rails and connections on sliding doors must be inspected periodically. In the footage, an electrical maintenance team is performing routine work on a pole near a busy road. One worker is working on overhead lines while standing on a ladder, while another stands on the ground to stabilize the ladder. As the work continues normally, a motorcyclist passing along the roadside comes too close to the work area. When balance is lost, the motorcycle makes contact with the worker standing next to the ladder. This contact causes the ladder to shift, and the worker on the pole also loses balance and moves downward. A routine maintenance task quickly turns into a high-risk situation due to environmental factors. This incident clearly demonstrates a fundamental rule: all work carried out near roadways must be isolated before starting.